Hello everybody, welcome to our live studio show here on MXGP TV, our Facebook channel, our YouTube channel as well, with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. It's round 17 of the FI Motocross World Championship. This is the MXGP of Turkiye. And yeah, fantastic location. And another studio show going live from the location. And on our studio show today, we have, and he's already in, our first guest, David Braceras from F&H Kawasaki Racing Team. We've also got Maxim Renaux and Lorenzo Resta coming in to join us. But before we catch up with our first guest, who's on the show for the first time, I'm going to touch base with my solar-powered Lisa Leyland.
Solar-powered?
Yeah, you love the sun.
Oh, I do. I don't mind it. It's all right. Yeah. I mean, I'm Spanish, aren't I? So it's normal. Us
You're
Spaniards.
Spanish.
Us Spaniards. We love a bit of sun.
Transplanted into Spain. Lisa, here we are. Look, recharged, ready to go after a weekend off?
Yeah, and I love coming here as well. I had my very first Turkish kebab on Friday.
I doubt that. How many Friday nights on the lash previously before you moved to Spain?
Don't underestimate those Turkish kebabs. You should try one. They're really good.
Oh, I'm partial.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of the jibber jabber. Should we touch base with our first guest, David Braceras, F&H Kawasaki MX2 Racing Team. David, great to see you. First time on the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is where the magic happens, apparently. But let's talk about your rookie season in MX2. As we said, first year in MX2. Are you pleased with how things have gone to this point overall?
Yeah, I'm quite happy, especially with my progression during all the year. Yeah, it was quite difficult the first part of the season. I was feeling already quite good before the injury. Then I missed 4 GPs, but when I came back to the bike, I was riding quite okay. I was feeling good. So since I'm racing since Locket, yeah, that second part of the season, I think I make quite a lot of progress, and I'm really happy how the team is working, and yeah, the bike also work now really good, and yeah, I'm really happy with all the work we are doing, and I think we can improve quite a lot in these last 3 races.
Well, you just mentioned the beginning part of the season was a little bit difficult. Why was that? Was it maybe you weren't 100% ready? Was it the MX2 kind of challenge was a little bit like, okay, I'm in MX2 now? Or was it something else? What was the reason for that kind of slow start, if you like?
Yeah, on the off-season I have a quite small injury on my ankle. And then, yeah, what little bit of struggle. But when I recovered that, then I getting better and better every race. Also with the bike was completely new for me. So yeah, we were finding the best setup for me, especially with the suspension, engine, everything. So yeah, that's why the first part was a little bit difficult, but then I managed to improve.
Yeah.
You did mention that you've missed 4 GPs because of injury. What exactly was that injury?
Yeah, I was training in Bergen, and one long corner, I crashed quite hard, and the handlebar hit my leg. Yeah, and it broke a little bit the muscle. So yeah, it was maybe 4 weeks I missed of riding, a little bit more. And then yeah, was between Indonesia, a little bit before Indonesia, so I missed Latvia to Central and both in Indonesia. So.
Well, there have been some good moments, David. In Lommel, 7th in race 2. We have a clip here. Just tell us, what were the emotions like being up at the sharp end here, and especially in the sand as well?
Yeah, I was really happy because also in 125 I win my first ever 125 race here in Lommel, and I was quite confident for this race. We rode a lot in the sand this winter, so I improved a lot between last year and this year. Oh,
yeah, there was just that one small mistake.
And yeah, I was quite confident for that race, and I started good in second moto, and just I push all I have, and I managed to do a really good moto.
And you actually finished 9th overall that weekend.
Yeah.
As a rookie coming into this year, what were your goals for the season?
Yeah, the goals was to improve during all the season, since the first race to the last race, and being in the top 10. So I'm quite happy about that. Of course, now I want more, and I'm working for more and more. And yeah, but now I'm really happy about my progression.
You also had a good qualifying race in Sweden, 6th, and that was another step in the right direction. What kind of changes have you made in order to sort of like find this next step?
Yeah, I think was because always when I train on the sand, yeah, I spent so much time to get back to the rhythm on the sand. But then when I came back to the hardpack, always I improve a little bit, since always. So this time when now we came back to the hardpack tracks, directly I feel better than before. And now I think that's why on the last races on hardpack, I was feeling quite good.
And obviously, Sweden is probably your best Grand Prix weekend, and you were very consistent with that 6 in qualifying, 8-6 in the races on Sunday. You mentioned the second half of the season, you've kind of found another step. And obviously, this weekend here, what was the difference here? Was it just you kind of felt more comfortable with the hard conditions again and 2 good starts? Was that maybe the thing that made the difference here?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But this track also have some, I don't know, have something special on me because last year I trained 2 times on the bike and I went to the MX and I did my first pole position after my injury. Okay. And I was really motivated to this track for this year because I knew can be really good GP for me, and directly when I was riding on the track I was feeling quite good. Then, yeah, first moto, I didn't start good, but I managed to make a really first lap. And yeah, second moto, I just make a good start and I ride the fourth place for a long time. Yeah.
3 rounds left, David. What's your goal between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, my goal is keep improving every race. If I can make good starts every moto and find the rhythm for the top guys, and then if I can go to the nation, that is my goal.
And obviously consistency is important, as we saw there in Sweden. Your first time here in Turkey, what are your first impressions of the track? I know it was quite flat because not so many riders in WMX and the EMX 250, but you like the track? Is it a fun track to ride?
Yeah, I like a lot because also the ground is quite specially, and I remember it's like my type of ground, like Spain. So yeah, I feel good since this morning, and now yeah, we have time practice and quali moto, and I'm really looking forward for it.
All right, well look, David Braceras, thanks for joining us here for FNH Kawasaki Racing Team. Our next guest is in, but before we catch up with Maxime Renaux, obviously you know by now we're doing the Behind the Gate series. Here's a little snippet from Swede Dreams episode 16, and this is the battle for the podium in Sweden in the MXGP race. Enjoy. Just had a massive downpour of rain. It's just starting to ease back a little bit here. Anything goes, anything can happen. Bravery will be rewarded. Jeremy Seewer is a 2-time winner around this Grand Prix venue. Can he turn things around and make it to the top step? Nobody spinning up on the skid plate. Jeremy Seewer charging down into the first turn. Who leads?
In Sweden with Jeremy, you could really see that sense of urgency in his races. He really wants to not only secure another GP victory, but he wants to secure that 3rd place in the championship.
He'll cross the line. He wins race 2. He wins for the 3rd time in Sweden. His 12th Grand Prix victory.
It was a difficult track, difficult conditions. It was hard, it was technical, it was constantly changing. And he managed to adapt to all of that, get his head down and get the job done, and almost prove to everyone and himself that he belongs there.
Hello everybody, welcome back to part 2 of our live studio show here on MXGP TV with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland, where our second guest joins us now live in our studio. Maxime Renaux from Monster Energy Yamaha Factory MXGP team. Good to see you, Max, although I have to say it would have been nicer to have seen a lot more of you out on the track this year. We know you've been injured and you're just coming back, but describe what it's like to be in the title fight 1 minute and then the disappointment and the frustration of having to just say goodbye to the season because of what happened in Spain. It can't have been easy.
No, for sure. It's really difficult. I don't like so much to talk about it, actually, because it's still like really bad memories, you know, and it's still like quite deep in my heart. But yeah, it's like this, you know, it's part of our sport, and we've been a couple of them this year. I think also about team, about Jeffrey, me, myself. So it's like this, you know, we have to accept the part of risk of our sport, and unfortunately, yeah, stupid, not even crash, you know, and just put the foot down in Spain and break my foot. So it happens. It's like this.
And is it tough mentally to deal with initially in the beginning, and how do you kind of deal with that and coming out of that side?
Yeah, it's I would say, you know, MX is always like this, you know, you build, and then something happens, so you just go all the way down, and then you have to build again. So mentally, it was really tough because yeah, I was really motivated to fight for the title. And yeah, you just have to build yourself again. Try to look also for the things to improve when you come back, and then you just switch, you know, from the beginning of the season trying to play for the title, and end of season, you know, trying to build on confidence and coming back to your best level, and yeah, be ready for the next season.
And as Paul mentioned, and yourself, you're very much in that MXGP title fight. The first 2 rounds were pretty steady for you, but it was really winning in Switzerland. Did that really reset your focus to be like, you know what, I can get this championship?
Yes, sure. Actually, the 2 first rounds were so-so, I would say, because yeah, I was dealing with some problems, health problems. So it was not the best, but then Switzerland, I could really flip the switch, you know, and get to my level. Yeah, just two good races. Winning the GP was really a turnover to the season, you know.
Yeah.
And then after Switzerland, unfortunately, before Portugal, had a crash on training, injured my shoulder. So I was again in Portugal riding a little bit injured. And Spain, eventually, I was coming back to shape, and yeah, and then the injury happened. So. Like I said, the season is always ups and downs, and you need to manage to be consistent as much as possible.
Well, you followed up with a second in Trentino, then you moved up to second in the championship standings. I think only 17 points behind Prado at that stage. Then Spain happened, like you mentioned. During the time off, did you change anything? Did you reevaluate anything? What was happening in that time away from the races for you?
Yeah, you reevaluate everything, and you try also to take the positive from the beginning of the season, because everything was not to throw away. You know, I've won the GP, I made podium, so it was pretty good. I also popped some good bottles, so this is something I'm looking forward to again. But yeah, you know, it's just trying to reevaluate to be a better rider and more complete. And what I can say, what I've learned the most is that I cannot play for a championship if I'm out. And we see this year with Prado, he's been consistent every time, over and over, doing his races, doing his motos, winning so when he can win, not winning when he cannot. So the goal for sure next year is going to be to do the full season, to stay healthy, and then we have a good shot for the championship.
Well, look, you made a return to action in Sweden. How was it coming back after, what, 9-10 Grand Prix out? You know, was it intense? Was it more intense than you thought it would be? Or was it kind of exactly how you figured? Because when you go with the riders throughout the whole season, the level always improves and you adjust. But when they're still climbing and you kind of having to fight back, was it kind of, oh, here we are again, or certainly on Saturday maybe at least?
Yeah, sure. You know, it's always like this when you come back to racing. But actually, the comeback in Sweden was a last-minute thing, because we were supposed to come back only in this GP in Turkey. So we really rushed it. I really rushed it a little bit. You know, I decided to come back knowing I'm not 100%, and still now I'm not 100%. But it helped me, you know, to go to that GP without any pressure on myself, you know, and not expecting too much, because I knew my physical condition and also my foot was not the best. So it was a little bit a shock, but at the same time, you know, I was expecting to not be there.
Yeah.
And still, I could get a moto on top 3, you know, fighting with Jeffrey, fighting with Tim, so, and also Jorge. So it was still quite a good GP.
Well, look, Turkey this weekend, round 17. In the past, you've won 3 races here, 3 motos, including a race last year. Is it a track that you're looking forward to? Is it one that you sort of enjoy riding?
Yeah, sure. It's one of the track I enjoyed the most. I've been pretty strong the past years here on this track. last year winning the qualifying race, winning the first moto. Unfortunately, second moto, I had a crash on the first lap and damaged my bike. But yeah, it's a track where I feel comfortable. So I will try to look for the same feeling, you know, even though I know I'm still not where I was at that time, you know, on the physical shape and also on the condition. But I feel we have a good shot, you know, and still, you know, my goal for the season is building towards nations and being 100% healthy there and go for it.
Yeah.
Well, we're at the end of the championship now. There's only a couple of rounds left, Maxime. You've got Italy, you've got England. Are they tracks that you enjoy, and what are you hoping for? I know you said you're looking to build, but what are you hoping for from those remaining races?
Yes, sure. There are all tracks that I like, so that's already a good point. But then I cannot really say I expect anything. You know, I'm trying to go with the flow. For sure, every race I want to be on the podium. I want to pop those bottles, you know. But but yeah, it's I'm missing it obviously because when you're a racer, you want to go up there and go on the box. But I need to keep, you know, what I've learned during that injury, that I need to stay on my wheels, you know, and not get injuries. So I'm building, and I will get there.
Well, we just. You mentioned Motocross of Nations a moment ago. Last year, you won the MXGP class in the USA. This year, it's on home soil. Seems everybody from France wants to represent. You just got announced as being one of the riders on the team. It's going to be at Ernay on the 7th and 8th of October. How big a weekend is this for you as a French rider riding at home in a Motocross of Nations, especially after what you did last year in the US?
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a big weekend. You know, Motocross of Nations is one of the most important race of the year. So really looking forward to it. I believe France have a really strong team. We have a good shot, but like we say, Motocross of Nations, anything can happen. So we're just going to try to, ride everyone on our level. And yeah, eventually, I guess we have a good shot for the victory. So we'll try.
And obviously, Gauthier Paulin is the team manager, and he's got a lot of experience. He's won a few, 5, I think, as a rider. How important is that for you as a rider, knowing that you have somebody who's just recently retired, has that kind of success in that event, and is with you guys, literally has your back in Ernay?
I think it's a great confidence boost, you know, to have him on our side, because he lived Motocross of Nations many times, because he won it 5 times, but he was part of the team like on many occasions. I cannot say the exact number, sorry, Gauthier, but yeah, it's a very experienced guy, so it's good to have him part of the team. He was also last year with us in Redbud, so he already could maybe take the first bath, let's say, about it, and now we will have him as full-time coach this season. So it's going to be interesting, and also I will have 2 good teammates. You know, Romain, which is in shape at the moment. Tom also, that showed very good things in Ernay when he was racing in Europe. So yeah, I think it's a strong team, and I'm confident about my team. Yeah.
And just really quickly. Because the final round now has been moved forward, Natalie, we have 1 extra weekend free, so I guess the team will be together just riding and doing some drills in advance in preparation?
Yeah, probably we will have some time together, and I think, like usually, you know, 1 week before the Nations, the team groups, you know, and we try to bring that team spirit, you know, and get to the Nations already with a good talk between each other, you know, and know each other a little bit more, let's say.
All right, well, look, Maxime Renaux, great to see you back out on track, and all the best this weekend for the rest of the season, and also Motocross of Nations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Max. Well, as well as MXGP this weekend, it's also the final round of the WMX, where 3 girls can still get that title. One of those girls is Courtney Duncan, who's looking to clinch her 4th world title. I caught up with her on Friday, and here's what she had to say ahead of the final GP. Time for a paddock talk here at the MXGP of Turkiye. Now, it's an important weekend because it's the final round of the WMX, and it's an even more important weekend for Courtney Duncan. I know, Courtney, you're coming into this final round looking to clinch your 4th world title, 16 points clear of Daniela, 23 points clear of Lotte. It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting. Always enjoy coming out here and racing in Turkey, and like you say, it's the final round for WMX, and there's a championship on the line, so cannot get more exciting than that.
How did you feel coming into this weekend? Did you feel obviously excited, but is there any sense of nerves or anything? Because I know you've got your friends here, you've got your mum coming to the round, and I can't remember the last time she went to a race. So, you know, you've got people around you, and it's going to be, it's a lot of expectations, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think every time I race there's expectations, but maybe even more so this weekend for sure. But no, I'm just going to treat it like any other race and go out there and, you know, perform to my best of my abilities, and wherever that puts me, it puts me. But looking forward to, hopefully, like you say, my mum's here, so hopefully putting on a good performance, especially for her.
And actually, this track here in MXoN has been very kind to you in the past. You got your first world title here back in 2019. You won the overall here in 2021. I think you won the last round here last year as well. What is it about this track that just suits you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I seem to gel really well with the track. Like you say, I've had a lot of success here in the past, but it's always different coming each year, right? We kind of start from scratch, and but no, I'm looking forward to kind of keeping my guard up this weekend, and hopefully can carry on with the same success we've had here in the past.
Okay. And also this track, I know you've walked it already this morning. What's the thoughts? What's the layout looking? Any changes?
Not really, honestly. It's pretty much identical to last year. You could probably argue that there's a few changes here or there, but minimal. Maybe a bit more topsoil, but for the most part, it's looking good. Hopefully, they can chuck a bit of water on, and she'll be all go tomorrow.
And obviously, at the final round, you look back on the year that you've had on reflection. How do you sum up the year that you've had so far to get you to this point?
Yeah, I think we can say it's been a good year to this point for sure. We've had, you know, I think 3 GP wins, which has been good, and pretty consistent year to be fair. But hopefully we can finish on a high here in Turkey and make it a year, not to forget.
Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you, Courtney.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our live studio show here, our final part on MXGPTV.com with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland. We're at the MXGP of Turkiye at MXoN. Our final guest joins us now, Lorenzo Resta from Moto Sprint. Good to see you, Lorenzo. How was the coffee, first of all? Good?
Oh, it was very good. It was needed for sure, and was very good, of course.
Italians, when they arrive on the studio show, the first thing they like is a good coffee. We just saw an interview there from Courtney Duncan, and Lisa just set it up nicely. 3 girls going into the final round, 16 points between first and second, 23 between first and third. Courtney going for a 4th title. The other 2 girls, Lotte van Drunen and Daniela Guillen, obviously in the hunt for the first time ever. What can we expect this weekend, just really briefly?
I think it will be a really good race. I mean, it's important to have 3 girls at the end of the season fighting for the title. Courtney, of course, is in a better position with these advantage in points, but it's really nice to see that we have new girls coming up really strongly, and both Daniela and Lotte are really looking good, and I think that the future of WMX looks really bright.
Yeah, it does indeed. Well, look, let's do what we're here to do. MX2, we are a couple of rounds from the end of the season, 3 rounds including this one. Andrea Adamo, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, has a 72-point lead over Liam Everts. But the game changer was probably here in Finland a few rounds ago. Obviously, Jargo Kietz went out, but you've still got to be in it to win it. Adamo doing just that.
Yeah, I think that this was really the key point of the season, the game changer, as you said. Andrea has done perfectly the job he needed to do. It was switching on a different mode in the right moment. You know, it was, I think, struggling at the beginning of the season a little bit while he get this red plate temporary. The pressure was a lot, but I think that alongside with the people that are working with him and the awesome group that is behind him, he was able to grow and to build up this momentum and really try to manage with the weight of the red plate. When you're so young and it's the first time you win a race, first time you lead the championship, is really important to do this big step.
What do you think Andrea's biggest asset has been this year? I mean, someone that springs to mind to me is his trainer, Joel Smets.
Yes.
Would you agree with that pairing?
Yeah, I think so, and I totally agree. And Andrea is this kind of really, he wants a lot, this his anger, you know, and he wants a lot, not too much, but he's a fighter, and he showed that he can really fight with everybody. And of course, the championship gave him the chance to fight. I think that without the injury of Jargo, he will not probably be in this position to fight for the title, but maybe just for second place. But it would be great indeed. But in the meantime, he was able really to fight at the right moment and to show how strong he is.
And also, So Jorge Prado coming into this round, 92 points clear of Fevre. Solid, he's been consistent, and looking at it, the common denominator between him and Andrea is Joel Smets as the trainer. Just tell us how significant you think Joel has been in Prado's performances.
I think that is really the key of the team till now. It has been the key of the team for the riders. He's coaching very well. I think that it's also really easy, and there's a lot of pleasure for the boys to train with him through the season, not only at the races where he can give a good advice, a good final touch, you know, for the preparation for the race, but I think that it's funny to work with him during the winter time, during the week at home, and it's something really important because it takes away a lot of the pressure that those kids of course had on their shoulder, also because it's always easy to get a little injury during the training. It's always to do it in the right way with a good spirit. I think that Joel is the better person you can have along your side just to do it in the right way. Yeah, and obviously you can't just attribute it all to a trainer, for instance. Jorge has been very, very consistent. When you look at the stats, 15 podiums from 16 rounds, 10 RAM qualifying race wins. But he's only had 2 Grand Prix wins, but he still has a massive points advantage over everybody else. So consistency has been key. His last win was Germany, as we saw there. That's been his strength, hasn't it? His consistency. Absolutely, yes. Of course, the target for him was this since the beginning of the season. I think that there is still a little bit lack of physical power. I mean, really power compared to many of his title contender. But he was able to manage in the best way possible. Some say that he's managing with this advantage of points. I don't agree, because most of the last races he was winning even 2 out of the 3 races of the weekend. So what it means that he's always on charge, but he's able to manage in the best possible way his strength and to don't waste with doing mistakes the results. And I think avoid mistakes and be consistent was really the key of his season. Well, it seems both titles, MX2 and MXGP, if all things are well, can be wrapped up in Italy. So an Italian in MX2 winning in Italy with an Italian team manager, Antonio Cairoli, and of course Prado riding for the Italian team, Ducati. Things could, you know, be sorted well and truly at the magical Majora. Big weekend on the horizon in a couple of weeks' time. It will be a big weekend. It will be amazing to see both titles given in Majora. I'm not sure, of course, now. But it's amazing also to see the numbers, you know. Like at the moment, Andrea has 72 points in advantage of an Everett. Yeah, what is a number? Yeah. Yes. And you know how many points Prado needs to come out of Majora to have the title? Minimum 61. What is another number that is? But coming back on what you said, it's not, of course, only one trainer. The keys are plenty of keys, plenty of important things. And I think that both riders have incredible teams behind them. And, of course, super good riders, athletes. So, but I think that the Carly and KTM team have done a fantastic job this year. Mostly, I mean, KTM having 2 riders in the first 2 places at the moment in the championship. Yeah.
Well, this weekend also hosts the EMX 250, where we could see Andrea Bonacorsi get a 250 title to add to his 125 title that he picked up in 2020. It's going to be a big weekend for him, isn't it?
It will be a great weekend for him. He will just need to do his job. I saw already that he started doing very well in the free practice, what is not so common for him. Andrea is a fantastic boy. He won already in 2020 the EMX 125 title. This year he can do it again in EMX 250. He represents, together with Adamo, the future of the Italian motocross, and this is really important. He's been on the podium so far this year. Every round he's got 3 wins, 4 seconds and a third. Where do you think he'll stack up in MX2 when he moves up next year? I think that Andrea is a little like a diesel, you know. He starts slow and then he comes at the end. So I don't think he will start in MX2 like scoring podiums and victories at the beginning. I think it will take a little time to go, but I'm pretty sure that he will arrive on top as he did in every category he was participating. All right, well, look, Lorenzo Resta, thanks for joining us here this weekend. Enjoy the action here, not just in Afyon, in Turkiye, but also the next 2 rounds, particularly
particularly Italy, Maggiore, where it could be a big weekend for you guys. And then the final round at Matterley Basin. But that's it. We are out of time here this weekend. We'll be back in a couple of weeks in Italy. But don't forget, coming up later on today, we've got WMX Race 1 and EMX 250 Race 1. That all kicks off at 3 o'clock. And then we end the day with the RAM qualifying races with MX2 and MXGP. Well, enjoy the weekend here this weekend from Turkiye. We'll be back in 2 weeks in the round in Italy at Maggiore. From me, from Lisa, from Lorenzo, thanks to Maxime and David Braceras. Enjoy your weekend. See you next time. Bye for now.